Welcome to a brand new series that I have started and come up with. If you couldn't tell already, it is inspired by the wonderful game Dirt to Daytona. I was playing it the other day with my good friend, and was kind of inspired to try to make it work in iRacing, especially now that the leagues are done. Wanted something to keep me occupied. I was inspired by Billy trying new things, and just a lot of talks that I've heard around of people wanting to try this series and that series, so I want to give it a shot myself, and also give me a cool little hobby project to work on while I got some free time. So we're starting Dirt to DayDega, again very similar to Dirt to Daytona, where we start, like the name suggests, in dirt mini stock throughout the week. And then once we complete one of those races, then we have our choice of moving up. So we go to pavements, just like how they do modifieds in the actual game Dirt to Daytona. We're doing the choice between late model stock, SK modified, or the SRX series. I get to choose based on which combo I either have available or that I'm able to get a race in. And then we progress up the ranks through our choice of ARCA or trucks. And then we get to move on to the big leagues, where you go to, I'm going to choose to call it the Xfinity Series. That's just what my brain does automatically. It's been called anything from Grand National up all the way through current day O'Reilly Series. That's where we're going to try to steer away from the fixed races and start to venture into open. The backstory behind it is, if you ever played Dirt to Daytona, your car is awful when you start out. So by running against some of the elite setups with elite drivers in this series, hopefully that simulates that we have good equipment, but skill-wise we're not quite there yet. I'll be using hand-me-down setups from what I can find in the various connections that I have. And then we will move on to the Cup car. I'm not doing the next gen car. That car is awful. And in spirit of Dirt to Daytona, the highest rank in that series was the Gen 4 cars. So we're going to replicate that here on iRacing. It's one of my favorite series, one of my favorite cars, and it'll be a good learning opportunity, especially at the tracks that I'm still a standard deviation below what that higher speed is. And then we get to wrap it up, bookend with a little bit of chaos. We started with Chaos Dirt Mini Stock, so we're ending with Chaos Draft Masters, because like the name suggests, got to end at Daytona or Talladega. And so yeah, that's the route we're going to go through. It's going to be very short, brief recaps of each race. I'm only going to do a live intro of the series, kind of what my thoughts are as I'm going into the race, and then we'll jump to my thoughts, my post-race thoughts, as we look at my qualifying session. I won't qualify for the Gen 4 series because this is our debut. We want to start from the back. We want to start from square one, like the spirit of the game suggests. And then I will go through the highlights of each race. If it's a snoozer, long greens, even though it's fun to drive, not fun to watch, so I'll skip around to the important parts. And I'll try to get better as the series progresses, and as I get feedback, and as I get to do it with some more reps. So yeah, it should be a fun idea. If anybody wants to do it as like a challenge, feel free, don't credit me. I'm sure this has already been done out there. But yeah, something that I want to start, I haven't heard of before, and want to try on my own. So enjoy. Welcome back to the first step in the inaugural journey from Dirt to DayDega. Like I mentioned in the intro, one of my favorite games of all time is Dirt to Daytona. And going to emulate that here over the summer. Again, we've got a little extra free time. So this is our first step, a little kind of insight before we go ahead and head into post-race commentary. Just want to include my thoughts before each race to let you guys know where my mind's at heading into these. I've done a little bit of dirt before, nothing serious at all, but I do have a decent dirt rating. No, not great by any means, but good enough to where I feel pretty comfortable around these tracks. Obviously, if you've ever driven dirt mini stocks before, destiny's not always in your hands, so that's why it's always going to be a fun step each week to start in these. We got 9 in the field. Looks like I'm the 5 car, so we got some really good people in here, at least compared to my current skill level in Dirt Oval. So it should be a fun time. I can't decide if I want to do no sponsorships at first and maybe let people make some sponsors for me, like sponsor other channels around DDP or Cape 5, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But for right now, I'm in unjustifiably in a Lowe's car. Lowe's, there's no business Lowe's should be sponsoring one of Dirt Me in the first place, much less mine. With this being the first week, and I was supposed to be a brand new driver, so it is what it is. But yeah, pretty confident heading into this, but it all depends on if I get absolutely destroyed by another car, or if I am the destroyer myself, because it could always go both ways. So about to go qualify. I will see you in post. Alright, we are moving out for our qualifying lap. Did a couple practice ones before this race started, so I'm not completely blind, but still kind of nervous. Saw what the times are putting down as we are about to do our first lap. I saw the fast guys really trying to get down by the wall, so that's what I try right here as I get a little bit of mud on the visor, getting down and dirty. And going into this turn 3 and 4, try to do the same thing. Kind of had a rough time steering it around, waving around for our last qualifying lap. As I'm really trying to dive it in there, get on the gas, busy at the wheel. Don't know if that's good or bad in this car. But yeah, just trying to match what I saw the fast guys do, and it does indeed work out for me, as I'm able to put down a qualifying time to get me P2 for this event. We're picking up on the pace laps. As you can see, this is, after all, a dirt mini stock event. At this point, I am terrified on what I am seeing and hearing. And I've already designated number 8. It's not the most reliable driver, along with number 4 behind. A lot of bait and banging as the pace truck is still out, as we are gearing up to take the green flag here. For these shorter races, I'm probably going to show 90% of it, especially races like this. We only got 20 laps here at Linear. Pace truck off. I forget you need to start in a much shorter gear than I did, and that cost me a spot. As we see the number 8, predictably so, already hugging the wall. The main battle leaders already are checking out. We don't see them for most of the race, but we do see the number 4 car right behind me, or sorry, right in front of me, and then we see the pink and purple car behind me. That's going to be what the battle's going to essentially come down to this entire race, because I'm in the Lowe's car in the middle. So we got some friends struggling to stay off of the wall. We got the 4 and 5, or sorry, the 4 and 6, I think, sandwiching us right now, as we give up the bottom, which I wasn't too happy to give up here in this early stint. As he quickly gets by us, I struggle at running the top. It might be faster, maybe in the long run, but I sure cannot make it work. So we give up a spot off the rip, sending us back to 5th place, giving up 4th. So already slid back a couple. So we jump over here to lap 10. You can see that I forgot to bind I forgot what I bound the tear off the visor to, so each time because of the end car, it's going to get more and more dirtier. But cut to lap 10 because they are starting to battle up in front. That's the only chance I have of catching them, as the 4 has been pretty out of control. He's super fast, but a little out of control. As I try to take advantage of it, but I just do not have the speed to catch the old Mountain Dew car up ahead, and that is the 6, the pink. He ran a really good race, because as soon as he got by both of us, he just kind of checked out here as we jumped to lap, I think, 13? Yeah, lap 13 here. But you can see just consistently, just us 3, pretty even gaps at the time being. I'm struggling to find just that extra bit of speed to try and catch up to the 4 to be ready if he makes any kind of mistake, as we build a long gap out front. We jump to lap 18, because that's when I start to finally reel in the 4 as things are heating up. Only got a handful of laps to go, and we got a reckless, our old friend the 8 car might set a pick for me. That's what I'm hoping for, as we are on lap 19 here. Still in 5th place. Leaders are long gone. Pack behind us is long gone. We're lapping some of them. And I am trying everything to get to this 4's bumper, just in case he makes a mistake trying to get around this lap car. And as I gear up, we see the white flag here waving by the flag stand. I get up close to us, the checkered flag last lap, and not able to get it done. It felt like I was trying to get it done for most of the laps. You can check out some of the wrecks that happened. We got a slide up into the 8 car. It was really far off the wall. And the 8 car says to the 9, hey, I didn't really like that. Let's take out both of us and the 7 while we're at it. And that was about it for the race. I was surprised. I thought it sounded like there was more going on than that. But out of race 1, we do come away with a 5th place finish. Qualified 2nd, but clearly did not have that consistent speed and not enough to take advantage of any mistakes. So decent result. We'll see you at, I think, late model fixed. Welcome to the next step in the journey from dirt to DayDega. We've upgraded from dirt to asphalt or pavement here at Concord. A little mini Pocono, I guess. It looks like a triangle in the track map. First time racing here, so kind of excited for a new challenge. Definitely going to lose some iRating. I'm the 4 car heading into this one. But we're definitely making some learning adjustments on how to actually drive this track, because it's pretty unique. One of the corners is super wide. Yeah, we'll see what we can do out here in the late model stock car. I don't drive these too often, but wanted to pick it this week to try and rattle off at least some decent results. In a foreign part, a foreign track. So it should be a lot of fun. I will see you in post. Alright. We have the UPS hopping on for sponsorship. Longtime sponsor of many endeavors in my iRacing. But yeah, you can see from this view, this track is like a mini Pocono, in a sense. But yeah, these cars are a blast to drive. So you can see by the qualifying laps, still learning the track. You'll see throughout the whole race, still learning the track. But I saw that you can really kind of cut down in that middle, or in between 1 and 2, as I overshoot turn 3, heading to the line. So a lot of pressure on this final lap here. Driving a little bit harder, but you can keep it really close and then flat-foot it all the way through, which is really fun to do. And then try my best to get to the apex. I still miss the yellow line, so it's not going to give me the best qualifying spot. But we do end up qualifying P11 as the 4 car, so we definitely have a lot to work to do this race, but we'll see if we can make some magic happen during the course of this run. Moving into the restart here, again, a terrible restart by yours truly. Luckily it was blocked by that trailer parked in the middle of the infield. But yeah, we immediately are in a battle with the 14 car. I did find that the dominant line was the bottom, so that was my goal. Try to stay on the bottom. Don't let him try to undercut me, but he didn't. He was just led me through. And we have a long way to go to try and get back to our car number. Moving ahead, we are at lap 6 right now is when I finally catch up to some of the guys in front of me. I already had passed 1 at this point, so I am in P10. You'll see during the wrecks and incidents portion how that came to be. But trying to track down this 7 car, you can see when you wash up the track, I'm able to get a little bit of a run on him. So that's what I'm trying to do here as we dive into turn 3. Turn 3 ended up being, ironically, my money corner. As this lap went on, that was the only thing keeping me in this race, because I was really bad at 1 and 2 the entire time. As the 7 gets around the 6. And now, since the 7 is past the car in front of me, we are going to try and work past the sponsor list number 6 car. Again, trying the same strategy, trying to, at any moment, peek my nose underneath and try to get that dominant bottom line. Easier said than done, because all these guys in this lobby that qualified ahead of me are faster than me on a hot lap, so we got to try and make a little bit of savvy moves here as I try to give a little bit of a slider, utilizing that giant corner exit to try to make a little slider work. Luckily, he doesn't try to fight it. He understands we got a long way to go, and that will not be the last I see of the number 6 car. So now I'm back, have my sights on, unfortunately, the number 7 car. I know I've tried to avoid saying those numbers back to back, But you can see right here, turn 3 is where I make my money compared to the other fellow mid-pack drivers in this race. And the number 7 car having a tough time keeping it glued out of 1. This is where I'm lucky I saw that really fast lap by one of the guys in this lobby, because now I can just cruise along this bottom line. Still side by side going to the 1, looking to clear him here. Again, utilizing some of that apron, washed up the track, but I cleared him prior to possibly walling him. He does try to get back at me, but luckily finds the brake pedal, and I'm able to cruise through. 6 gets by no problem. He just was on my bumper this entire race, as we'll see later on. As we head to the next exciting parts, we're a bit of an island here for quite a few laps, so we're about to jump ahead. All the way, we are now at lap 32, and this is just to demonstrate how I had to play a little bit of defense, which was good because I'm not good at playing defense. I'm used to the just give and take of the Diet Dr. Pepper series, the League K5, and the 87s, where there is just a gentleman's agreement that you'll give and take. But it's not the case in officials, so trying to work on playing a little bit of defense. At this point, he was faster than me, but I kept closing the door. We are now on lap 38. I have still the 6 right on my bumper, and we encounter our first bit of lap traffic. Luckily, I've been blessed with some very respectful racers around me, as the 13 and 14 are battling for position, but understand that, hey, we got some cars on the lead lap that are also right next to each other coming through, so they pause their battle, let me in the 6 car drive on by, which is much appreciated. Not something I see in some of the more quote-unquote respectful lobbies, so that's cool. We make another jump up to lap 44 is where things start to get interesting. A lot of people got tire calls at this point, and me being naturally slow at this combo starts to pay off as I get an unexpected surprise from the 8 car. Really struggling through 3 and 4. I can tell his right front is gone. He's having a tough time keeping it down low, so we just, again, take advantage of this dominant bottom line here at Concord and try, as soon as I get below him, know that turn 3 is made for me at this race as we make another pass as we move up to P7. We jump ahead to the final lap. It's an exciting one. We still have the 6 right off our bumper, been holding him off the whole time, but we come across the 3 car, burns his stuff up as he takes the inside, and I try to make the outside work, but luckily turn 3 is my best friend as we get a very, very cool finish in a random late model stock race as we climb from P11 all the way up to P6. I'm very, very, very happy about that. I see some tire management play into this race. So we look through some of the incidents. We'll see the 11 had a really tough race as he gets dumped here by the 12. Little inconsistent braking points, but still, you gotta respect some other drivers. The 8 car, as you can see, almost doors the 11, trying to work through here. And the 11 car apparently has not been through enough. Number 7 decides, hey, let's not, don't show up to any of these again. And I might have given the 7 damage. We can see from my perspective this is how I got the past the 11 car. A little bit of a nervous moment as he turns down to make the corner, but we go below the O line. 7 car going up hitting the wall. Once he lost his tires, he had a tough time. And the 8 car trying to avoid the 14 gives the 10 car a little bit of a door shove, but they still keep it. And then the 12's perspective for this final lap, little Ricky Craven, Kurt Busch, Darlington style finish, using every bit of the track, every space in the lane. Again, finishing at P6, still short of our car number, but definitely higher than I thought we were going to do, just based on the speed I was seeing in practice and qualifying. Very, very happy and feel like I got away with murder here. Very good race and very happy with the results, which is good because we move on to ARCA next at Michigan. I've seen many attempts at that combo so far. None have turned out very well, so wish me luck as we move up.
Welcome back. We are moving on to the Arc Menards stage in the Dirt Today DayDega. Car owner has liked what they have seen out of us in the dirt and late model stocks, and they have called us up to the big leagues in the Arc Menards series. I'm personally not looking forward to this one, especially being the 2-car. We're going to donate some iRating to the iRacing gods, it looks like. Struggled to get single lap speed, but I'll try to put down a decent qualifying to not lose the main pack. It is like super speedway drafting, so I predict it will be. We're going to need to stick with the top group and, of course, avoid all of the ARCA super speedway draft heavy nonsense that I have seen earlier this week in other, every time I've watched this combo, it has not gone well for the individual running it, and hopefully I can break the cycle, but my hope is not very high. So I think the best strategy is to send a prayer during qualifying and gridding up, and hopefully that prayer gets answered, that we make it out of here, still maintaining a 4 and our safety rating. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but it should be at least a little bit of fun. Going to be a little bit silly, a little bit of nonsense. Yeah, I'll see you on post.
Alright, as we're pulling out here for our qualifying lap here at Michigan International Speedway, we got the Budweiser sponsorship, one of my favorite schemes. It is unfortunate that the ARCA car, the combos just don't really work out for enjoyment when it comes to racing. Pretty much anything above 1.5 miles is just a little bit too much in this car. But regardless, we got a nice prohibition scheme as we're building up some speed heading into the start-finish line. Grabbing a little bit of a little too much apron there, as that might come back to bite me. We're coming here to take the green flag, hop in the onboard camera here. Didn't really know where to put my car on either of these corners to make the speed. I could not figure it out in the couple laps of practice that I had. So try to get all the way to the bottom in 1 and 2. Didn't feel too great on the car. So I already know this lap is probably not going to be my best one. Going into 3 and 4 here, a little bit tighter than it was in 1 and 2, but once it starts going down the track, it does start going as I'm able to almost get to the yellow line there. So I figured we'll just try to build some speed here and try to make lap 2 our money lap. Taking the white flag, final lap of qualifying. Notice I could drive it a little bit harder into 1 and 2, so that's what I try to do. Take a little bit of a longer arc all the way down to this first seam and able to execute it perfectly. So already in the green heading into our second lap, feeling good about myself. Still don't know where I really want to put the car into turn 3 and 4, which is a skill issue. But I figured try to do the same, but then it starts turning a little bit faster than I was used to and get a little bit of apron to kill any hope we have. At a decent qualifying time, still in the green compared to the first lap. That was an abomination to the ARCA community, but we do a little bit of a dip down to salvage any tenths or hundredths that we can in this tight qualifying window, and it was not enough as we qualify P12 as the 2-car heading into this ARCA race, so we have a lot of work to do up ahead. Rolling to the start-finish line to kick off this 25-lap race. See, I'm very far back, and another less than ideal restart. Checking up for the 20, stacking up behind me, so the number 4 gets a bad restart as a result. My goal at this point, again, qualifying back here, you got to keep your head on a swivel. So I decided to just keep on the high line and try to make sure that I'm not in a line that's losing the pack. I do not want a front pack to break away, because I do not want my position to be capped out at this point in the race, especially this early, because it's a long 25 laps here in Michigan in the ARCA car. This 19 car I had a feeling was going to slide up, and my feeling was correct. Good thing I lifted the throttle there just a little bit to try and let him in line here. So far, pretty calm starts. Very happy to see. We got a big conga line going up top. Couple cars trying to dive low for a little bit of clean air, try to make a pass as the 1 car decides to do so on myself. I just figured the top line would be a little bit more organized, but I was wrong as we got some swerving and switching I have to give the 20 a bump draft. He did not get a great exit out of 2. That leads to 12 to dive down low, but everybody starts to get it together after the opening lap frenzy seems to have calmed down. Nobody crashed. Still got a good dominant lineup here. Switching over to lap 4, this is where my dreams started to become nightmares. As we have to check up, I brake by super low at 50, I get loose, hit the wall, but it turns out to be a blessing in disguise because I'm not the only one making a mistake here, and just barely get through. If I had not hit the wall, we would have definitely been collected in that. I had just low enough speed to be able to turn down to avoid those 2 last-second cars. Sliding up in the corner. It was bittersweet though, as you can see right here, we have aero damage on the back end of the car, and we are now in an island. So we did survive, but at what cost? We're gonna have to find out here as this race goes on. We're on an island for us by ourselves for quite a bit, but we start to develop a pack here, which was good news for me because I could not have the speed to survive on my own. I needed some draft to keep me at speed, to keep from falling. So we're at lap 11 here. And this is just to demonstrate the lack of speed that we do have. The 3 car, who does not have any noticeable damage, just makes the easiest pass of his life. Down low in turns 3 and 4. I could have probably battled a little bit, maybe a little side draft, but we were a wounded car out there, just trying to make some sort of speed at this point. Jumping ahead to lap 19, we were able to hold on to the wake. The draft really helped us, and I do want to take this lap to shout out the 17 Mountain Dew car. I don't know if he just doesn't like Monster or just loves a good Budweiser beer, but he was a lap car, so this whole pack was for position. Fighting for P6 right now. I'm currently in P7, but the 17 car, again, being blessed with some good lap car etiquette here. He's not trying to pass me. In fact, he, come to find out, he was trying to help me. He saw that my car had damage and wanted to try and even the playing field a little bit, which if I'm the 3 car, I'm not loving. If I'm the 9 car, I'm not loving, but as a 2 car, boy did I need it, and boy am I grateful. So cool to see some gentleman sportsmanship out of, or I see some help in an ARCA lobby. We're at lap 22 here. I decided to see what I can get with the draft help. He got me pretty close to the 3 car. Wanted to see if I had anything for any kind of pass here in the closing laps. So wanted to test it out before it was too late because the 9 car was trying to get around the 17. So I tried to get as big of a run as I could, try to get as close as I can, and try to make this dive attempt work like the 3 did to me, but the 3 is much smarter and decided to side draft and pinch me off, knowing that my car is damaged. And so I knew this was going to be a monumental task to try and get P6 out of this race. Luckily, though, I got my guardian angel behind me. That lasted up until we're at the final corner. Nothing major happened. The 9 just got around the 17. And thanks to 17's help, the 9 ran out of laps to try and get around me, and we come home with a P7 after all of the nonsense. We'll share the origin stories here in a moment of how all the cars in our secondary pack here came to be. But yeah, we're going to start here incident-wise. I am the first incident. I'm the first star. You can see as soon as I step on the brakes, the car steps out on me, hit the wall, and then just pure carnage, pure ARCA, Michigan just happened in front of me. We were able to, again, maneuver through it, but at the cost of damage. We can just see there's no incentive to brake, especially not trying to lose the pack here. Couple that with ARCA series, and yeah, good luck if you spin. Here's how the 3 car made it back to us. 16 just up, just a little bit too high. 3 not lifting, not in the mood to lift. Don't blame him. And here's how the 17 came to us. It is a game of inches, and unfortunately, there was none to give, none to take. Exited 2 there. He falls back to us. 12 car getting really aero tight. Felt that when I was behind the 3 car pretty much all race, and it led to his day being over along with the 7s and the 1 car. UPS having a great week of sponsorship. Pick the right car to sponsor for this one as they find themselves in victory lane doing their much deserved burnouts because he started back where we were and was able to make it through the carnage. Well, we did finish and salvage the day with a P7. Breaking even on safety rating, only got a 2x for my own mistake, my own skill issue. And about maintained iRating. So I would say that is a win when it comes to the ARCA series, especially at a combo like this when fate not too much in your hands, or at least not as much as you'd like to be. And we'll see you in the next stage. Welcome back to the next step in the dirt to DayDega. We have been called up to the O'Reilly series, formerly known as Xfinity series, formerly known as Nationwide series, formerly known as the Busch series, formerly known as Grand National series. I don't know how far back it goes before that, but maybe Sportsman series? I don't know. Regardless, the series with many names, but with many great cars, and today is no exception. One that I should run more, I just don't enjoy Be Fixed, so we are jumping into Be Open. I chose Open for a couple reasons. One, more green flag racing, which means I get to skip around a lot, so it's not too long of a race recap. And then two, I've been doing a lot of short sprints with the lower series, so this one's a chance to kind of work on tire management as opposed to just kind of going all out, which I need help with both, but especially with tire management now that I typically like to push it when push comes to shove. Another reason why is I kind of get to simulate being called up to kind of be a development driver for a better team. What I'm thinking is, or what I'm trying to go for, is a big team affiliate engine and setup to where it's like a Wood Brothers paired with Penske or Aspire paired with Hendrick, because I'm going to be using hand-me-down open setups that are good, but in my hands, not elite. So that's kind of what I'm going for. One that's not tailor-made for me, as if I'm called up to replace a really good driver and using their equipment. So that's what we're going for today. We got 90 laps here at Nashville Super Speedway. This combo should be a good learning moment for me because I don't run these cars too often, and I don't run these type of tracks too often. So I usually struggle at these kind of tracks where you gotta really use the brake, not my forte. So similar to Richmond, Iowa, kind of struggle with a lot of these. So it should be good learning moments. Very excited. I will see you in post. Rolling out here for our qualifying lap at Nashville Super Speedway. Expectations are pretty low. Even the best setup in the world will not give you automatic speed. And I feel like this is a very good example of that in action. I was definitely slow in practice for the few laps that I did, like 6/10 off, kind of slow. But trying to use this opportunity to at least learn the track as we come here and take the green flag. Swap over to the in-car camera here as we set up for turn one. With this setup, you'll hear the car bottom out almost every single time it's under like 150 miles per hour. Turn one I struggled with, as you can see, just plowing into turn one because I carry too much speed into it every time. But 3 and 4, I very much enjoyed this race. Similar to the late model, the final turn was my bread and butter. That corner felt great the whole time. Not great in this qualifying lap, but we are trying one more attempt here, taking the white flag. I try to back her down a little bit more, but still kind of plow. Really tough time getting that nose to point down. As you can see, I put a little too much wheel into it, get a little bit loose, killing any kind of hope I had. Qualifying decently in this, but wanted to get one more good turn 3 and 4 for just pride, but I slid that as well. So overall, colossal failure in qualifying, but that's part of the learning curve. Try to cut down for a little bit extra time, but it is of no use as I qualify 9th out of the 11 people that qualified. So we're going to be starting in the mid to back, but a lot of room to improve. We are rocking the St. Louis Cardinals scheme today. One of my favorites. I mean, I like all the schemes, obviously, that are run, but being from St. Louis, this is a special place. We got some local sponsors like Schnucks. We got Worldwide Technology Raceway. As I practice a pit road entry that goes horribly wrong, but cool way to slide into the pit box. Alright, pace car is pulling off for initial restart here for 90 laps at Nashville Superspeedway. Hopefully we get a good restart for once during this Dirt to DayDega series. And the leader is off, and I find out really quickly I am terrible at interviews. But we managed to make it work, no stack-ups, pretty calm and easy going restart. 10 car starts to look a little bit low on me, but can't quite get his nose there. I'm backing her up into 1 and 2 because I know how tight it is, and that does not align with my long run goal today by trying to be as fast as I can while getting on that right rear tire. Typically in this car I abuse the right front, so hopefully my subplot this race is to see how I can manage that right front tire while still trying to go fast. As this race has calmed down, we just got one battle in front of us. That 11 car is going to be our main kind of rabbit here during this first run. As we jump ahead to lap 15, I start to close the gap into this 13 car. And notice that he leaves the top a little bit open, so I try to take advantage of it, driving a little bit deep. Apologize to the right front as I abuse it, trying to get side by side, trying to keep that speed through. Because you can see the 11 and the 6 have pulled away, and I really want to stay with them because I think I'm pretty similar to them on speed. So going to my bread and butter, riding it on the outside. We are not quite door to door, but we are dead even heading into turn 1. I am not thrilled about entering turn 1 on the top, so I send one last apology to the right front as we drive it in there hard, drive it off of the exit hard, and manage to clear the 13 car to move up into P8. We jump ahead in the in-car to lap 25. It's at this point, it's been pretty calm, pretty green. I figured out my island of speed, which is with the 6 car that is in 6th place, 11 car in 7th place, and myself in 8th place. We built a huge gap out back. And this is kind of demonstrating. I loved turns 3 and 4 on this track. Very satisfying, and it just made sense to my brain. That's where I made most of my speed, most of my lap time, compared to the group that I am currently racing. On the flip side, turn 1 and 2 just felt awful all race. I tried backing it down, tried many different lines. I just really struggled to get that nose actually pointed down. We jump ahead to lap 36 is when I finally started to gain a lot of ground on these two in front of me, and I'm eyeing P6, which would be my goal for finishing position at this point in the race. I noticed that the 11 started to look a little bit low onto the 6 car. I think the 6 car is holding both the 11 and myself up right now. 6, I think, burnt whatever they had. And I am trying to use 3 and 4 to get some sort of a run. I see him dip low, try to test to see if he'd give me the outside, and he does. He's just trying to stick with the 6 car. He's going to look low, diving into turn 1. 6 car blocks, but that means 6 car gets a bad exit. I see that. I back my own corner up and try to let it rip on exit, get a huge run, stay out of the Cracker Barrel logo on the wall, and run into roadblock. But I see the 11 managed to throw it in, so I decided to take advantage of the gap he opened up on the 6 car, who is struggling at this point. And I follow him through, keep the draft with the 11 car. Appreciate him giving me the draft, but it's going to come back to bite him as I get a huge run down the front stretch and get the preferred line, at least for my car, into 1 and 2. Trying to wrap that yellow line, wait till I feel the slightest weight shift and get it on exit, and I knew I had to slide up and clear myself. Very risky to do at this point in the run, but I figured that I was faster than both of them, and I was correct. As we can see into turn 3 and 4, I start to rocket away, and I choose to not look back. Fast forward to lap 45. I plan on going to lap 50, try to do a little bit later pit in case there is a caution, but this corner was just brutal. No turn whatsoever, just pure plowing. I knew my right front was superheated and the 11 just got to my bumper, so I decided to weave low, wave my own white flag, and decide to pit exactly at halfway. Then it starts to dawn on me that I will have to do a green flag pit entry, and if we think back to qualifying, did not go well. This one also does not go well as my side skirt's slamming the pavement. Makes it a little bit awkward, but I do manage to get on the pit road safely. We jump forward to my out lap, and we can see the 11 car. He had a worse pit entry than I did, and we start to ride out into quite literally the sunset as we gained 5 seconds on him during that pit stop. Jump forward to lap 51, we start to get to battle some lap cars, some lap traffic. We got different strategies playing out. Fast guys pit late, I pit right in the middle, so we're just kind of all bunched up right now. I go to the outside of the lap car, dive low on the other lap car as I get my preferred bottom line into the bread and butter corner and sail off past these 2 lap cars. I did have one fast car behind me, as you will see here in lap 55. That 7 car was in the group that was way out in front. 13 stayed out really long on those tires, as he still hasn't, is the only car yet to pit. But we get on the lead lap, and then I see that 7 car is a missile behind me. Normally I'd like to work on my defense, but it is not worth it with the lap times he's putting in on fresher tires, so I give him the inside and choose to live to fight another day as I try to set my sights on this 10 car ahead. We get to the 10 car around lap 57, the old Wawa machine. Managed to get a decent 1 and 2 here. I started to figure out just backing it up but still keeping that looping arc into it was how it worked best for me. Still probably not the ideal line, but we make it work. Would have liked to get a better run. I should have stayed behind him to get a bit of a draft, because even though 3 and 4 was where we made our money, we could not clear him, so that hurt a lot of time to that 11 car behind me. He only had 1 lap fresher tires, but it is enough to make a distance over a long 45 lap run. So I'm trying to be as efficient as possible, but spinning a couple corners on this car on older tires was not what I wanted. Speaking of things I didn't want, we're fast forwarding to lap 81. I thought it was going to go green to the end, but we had a bit of a surprise. We'll see how that happened in the incidents and crash report. But we are basically resetting the field. Now, I'm in P7 when I come down to pit. No, P6. And I like to take risks. I like to take gambles. Not in real life, but in iRacing. I'm known to take 2 tires, try weird strategies, especially when I don't think I have the fastest car or the fast way around the track, which I don't, especially in the short run, evidenced by my qualifying time of P9. So as soon as I pulled into the pits, I asked my crew chief what our left sides were looking like. He told me we got 94, 93, and I was like, take off those left rear tires. We're taking 2, as we got some friends struggling to find the pit stall. I'm pulling out, curious to see who took 2, and it looks like I'm the only one taking 2 tires. At lap 81, we do have a decent amount to go, but we do have the benefit of track position, and especially this is where some cautions are bound to happen. Even in a B open lobby with some difference in speeds, you never know when you're just going to get a chain of yellows. So I decided to roll the dice a little bit, although it was very calculated. I do think it was the right call, especially at the time. So we restart with the 7 car. Don't know what he's doing. He pulls off to the side. I guess he got a speeding penalty and just kind of threw in the towel. Regardless, we're about to hit the reset zone as the control car for the first time in Dirt's DayDega. And we get a really good start, and then I see their setups are shorter gear than mine, and they start to blow right past me on the outside. But I do get my preferred line, which is nice. I balanced out the 2 tires with not taking any fuel, so the balance should still be relatively the same, or at least good enough to try and claw and hold on to what I can. We restarted on lap 83, so we were about to head into lap 84. Got about 6 laps left. I do unfortunately get loose in my bread and butter corner, so that means the 4 car on the outside is able to stick with me. I was hoping to clear him to buy myself another lap, another position, just in case there's a caution. 7 car luckily pulls to the apron, and we don't get a caution somehow. Side by side, but I'm getting a terrible exit regardless, much less when a car's on the top, and I can't quite, I do slide it up, but the 13 sees it coming. He dives low, and next thing I know it, I'm on the outside on my favorite corner, not taking my favorite line. But we do hang on the outside, but I am very loose as I tap the wall there, sliding on exits, and that keeps us even with the draft from the number 4. That 13 on just those fresher tires are able to stick 1 and 2 way better than I can on the outside, and before I can take advantage of my run, he's able to clear me, so I fall in line and enjoy seeing the battle in the mirror. I'm currently in P5, so the strategy has paid off so far, especially with them battling behind me. I'm liking my chances, but still looking to attack the number 13 car. Unfortunately, we were on the last lap. I could indeed not attack the 13 car. The 2-tire difference was just enough to where I can't pass him again like I did on that first run. And we're just trying to make something happen. We got to gain about half a second in one corner. It is the best corner that I can do. I get a really fast entry, able to get it enough on the rears to stay in the throttle and exit, but it is nowhere enough as we finish this race in P5, which I am very thrilled about. Would have liked to hold on to P4. We were faster in the 13 car, but the downside of a strategy like taking 2 is you might lose a spot to someone taking 4. That's just how it goes, and that's something I am willing to live with, as we've learned a couple things, and we're going to learn how our caution happened. First, we have the 13 car. Going to be a lot of wall hits here. He hit the wall. We had the 11 car. A lot of people struggling out of 3. 11 car on that long run hit the wall every other lap. I don't know how he was able to not have wheel damage. 16 car, get a good hit against the wall. 15 car, going to be our first with tire calls, I think. Yep, first with tire calls. 7 car, second with tire calls, as he really went out hard. And then we get our caution, the 3 and the 4 car. I think battling for second right here. With about 10 laps to go, just really close racing. 3 car turned across, or got turned. It'll be up for you to decide. But that brings out our caution, our own lone caution of the race, to stack the field back up. And it looks like the 4 car never was able to get back there, as we get, this is what happened to the 6 car. 6 and the 8 come together. 8 somehow stayed able to get back up there, so good final run to him. But that is going to be the end of this O'Reilly debut, and I think it's a very good debut. Starting qualifying 9th, got to get better at qualifying, especially in this open setup. But we have a P5 as a 5 car, no incident points, so that is a beautiful boost to the safety rating, and a little bit of a jump for the I rating. But overall, very happy with how that shook out. Learned a little bit about this style of track, learned a little bit about these cars, and overall, very happy experience. We will see you in the next stage. Alright, welcome to the penultimate step in Dirt to DayDega. We are in the Gen 4 car here at Michigan, just like ARCA was. I decided to do this instead of the next gen, like regular A open or A fixed. One, because I like this car a lot better, and 2, in the Dirt to Daytona game that this is based on, the top series at the time was the Gen 4 car, or something like very close to it. So we're going to keep the spirit. The only downside is, at the time that I'm doing this, about 4 in the afternoon, it's about to switch over to the new schedule, so I need to get this in. And that means we got a pretty sparse field, so we'll call this as a driver test, kind of what they did in Days of Thunder, where there just been a couple upcoming drivers against each other to see who's gonna get the spot, gonna get the cup ride. In this one, to keep the framing of it, I'm not gonna qualify in this step or this stage of the Dirt to DayDega. Again, I want to kind of keep a little bit of realism in there, even though I am very familiar with this car. We're just coming from an O'Reilly series where we're doing a little bit better than what our car should, and we're starting from square one in the cup. So we're not gonna qualify, assuming that we're have bad equipment or something like that. Try to keep a little bit of immersion, try to have a little bit of fun with it, especially in this kind of lobby. That might be the only entertainment for the 90 laps, or sorry, 60 laps that we're going to be running here today. But yeah, so that's kind of the overview for this stage in the Dirt to DayDega, and we'll see how this one goes. We are pulling out from pit road here to do a quote-unquote qualifying lap. I still need to get some practice in. Even though I'm familiar with the Gen 4 car, there's still only a handful of tracks that I have the top end speed at. Those being essentially just Bristol, Darlington, Dover, and Old Atlanta. Everywhere else, I'm still a full standard deviation below what the top end speed is for this car. So that's what I'm going to try and figure out here, while still obviously keeping my goal of trying to get on the right rear. I really struggled here, as we're going to see in qualifying, to try to get it on the right rear without sacrificing all speed. As we head over to the in-car camera, as the green flag would wave for if we were qualifying, but we decided to avoid our lap, just get some practice laps in. As you can see, it just gets so tight. My brain, like, I don't have a good mental map of these corners yet, and honestly, that's going to be the case, spoiler, for a lot of this race, but that's why we're doing this. Even what should be comfortable combos aren't really comfortable. There's still room for improvement no matter what, no matter where you think you're at. And the good news about where I'm at, as we hit the wall, demonstrating that I still have a lot of improvement to go. So that's why I'm doing these. Even if there's only 7 cars in this field, it is still completely worth it. And here we get to see the entire field, pace car pulling off for a weirdly packed race in the grandstands to see 7 drivers try to prove themselves in the Cup Series on their way to DayDega. We finally got a good start, even though it's the race that probably matters the least in terms of starts, just by the difference of speed, but we're able to get a good start, get under the 2 car, and clear them, exiting 2. And that was most of the action for the first majority of this race. My goal was to, at this point, try and get on the rears, and hopefully that comes into play later on, because I was struggling on the right front in practice, in those few practice laps I did. So that was my prediction. The 3 car jumped out to about a second and a half, and at this point we're still on lap 2, and he's already pulling away, but I'm still holding faith that my low line is going to end up paying off like it typically does at Auto Club when I did this combo. So I'm going to apply the same concept here to Michigan and see if it works out for me. Just really trying to work on getting on the right rear. Struggling to do that on entry, but able to get on it a little bit on exit, but still not very good. But the downside is you sacrifice a little bit of speed, as we see here on lap 10. Me going a little bit slower at the beginning is put me under pressure from the 2 car behind me. And I believe that is the 6 car as well behind me. Not what I was looking for this early in the run. I was assuming other people were going to try and save a little bit too, but I was dead wrong. 2 car looking on the inside here. I knew the momentum from the top line should be enough, and so I wasn't too worried, but I was worried about what happens right here as I get a little bit aero loose on exit. Learned a lot of that in the DayDega Prepper series. And so I wanted to kick it into gear a little bit to try and pull away, and this is where I started to get a little bit worried, because I started pushing it a little bit more, and as we see out of 2 here, I still don't get any run whatsoever. The 2 car who backed their entry up is still getting a better run than I did. And now this is where we're going a little bit code red, because I'm still under pressure from the 2 car, and I had saved my tires for the first 10 laps, and I'm trying to push it, and it not doing quite anything. I'm losing to the leader in front of me, and in a dogfight here for 2nd place. Early into this fuel run, again we're doing 60 laps, so my plan was to pit 5 past halfway. So around lap 35 to get a little bit of advantage in the back half, especially if I'm able to figure out how to be fast here. We are moving on to lap 36. Again, nothing really happened. I was able to get a half-second lead over the car behind me. They all pit at lap 30. I'm coming in here on 35, and this is where, unbeknownst to me at the time, this would come back to haunt me. Very slow pit entry. Used to having to pit or practicing pit stops at Nashville Super Speedway, and I come back out a whole 5.5 seconds back from 2nd place, and I don't exactly have a lot of speed to show for the first run, so I am behind the 8 ball here trying to track down the 2 leaders. So I'm taking this time right now to try and experiment. I had my last lap on, trying to find where in the world this speed is in this track and car combo. What I thought getting on the right rear early in the middle of the corner and riding it on exit did not work out for me. I'm sure it does for fast people. That's what I thought the 3 car was doing. But I'm back to the drawing board, and as we jump over here to lap 48, I am closing a little bit, starting to find a little bit more speed, trying to be a little bit more patient in the corner as I build the mental model for where I'm supposed to go, and then an early Christmas present, a wild ride for the 2 car, and he is no longer in the picture. It is now just me and the 3 car who I've had nothing for all day, trying to catch him. We got about 10 laps to do it, but as you can see, I'm finding a better angle in this corner, or in these corners here. Unfortunately, it was a little too late as we're on the final lap here, going to the final corner. I'm, again, just clawing my way back to the leader, but boy, do I run out of laps to do so, as we only are able to narrow it from 6 seconds all the way down to 2.1. As we cross the finish line in P2. In a vacuum, would have loved it, especially going into it. I knew I didn't have very much speed, and then once I started battling with the 2 car, I got very worried on how fast I was going to be able to go. So, yeah, I'm fine with second place. However, I would like to try again on my own time now that I figured out how to run the track. 5 car slamming into the wall, and here's the only kind of quote-unquote wreck of the day. 2 car, a little bit too tight. I'm sure he was trying to use up everything to get to the 1 car, or get to the 3 car in first place. As we get to right along a little impromptu rally course at the infield at Michigan. Incredible car control to be able to keep it going. Good on him. I'm glad I didn't bring out the yellow ruin anybody's run that they had going, even if they might have gained positions. It was pretty boring, but still needed practice for everybody involved, including yours truly. Like I said before, we finished second. Going into it, we'll love second place, especially seeing his fast lap, full 2/10 faster than me. But I did figure out the track finally, 40 laps into the race, but it was a little too late. If this combo runs comes around again, I'm definitely going to give it another try. Now that I know how to go fast here, should be a little bit more fun time. But yeah. Off to the final stage in Dirt to DayDega. Welcome to the final stage in Dirt to DayDega. We find ourselves at Daytona International Speedway on this wonderful summer afternoon. We are in the old 87 Buick LeSabre for this one. Pretty big field. I am car number 5 heading into this. First time ever doing Draft Masters. I already felt like a degenerate clicking on it or signing up for this race, but we'll see what happens. I'm kind of excited. Just to see what it's like. I know Draft Masters and Super Speedway racing gets clowned on a lot, by myself included, but I will definitely admit that there is some skill to it, and a skill that I want to start to try to figure out, because as much chaos may happen, typically the better racers do find themselves up front. So I am going to try to figure out how to navigate and how to find my way to the finish line. We got 18 laps here at Daytona. It unfortunately is not the old Daytona, the old bumpy one. It is at the newly paved one, so it doesn't really fit the era at all. But yeah, I am excited to see what we do. Alright, we got the Buick rolling off of pit road, the old LeSabre. One of my favorite cars on the service. And we got the Apache Stove sponsorship, a little tribute to Mark Martin. This is one I usually run in the 87s, but for those who don't know, one of my favorite sponsors because they actually never paid Mark Martin anything. And that's kind of the through line with my fake sponsorships on the hood, so might as well get one that actually is a fake sponsorship in real life. But yeah, it's pretty boring qualifying. What I'm trying to use this for is to get used to either deciding how much grip I have, and then also if I have to lift at any point. Just because I know with the few races I've done on super speedways with this car, you will have to lift because the car will plow out of 4. It's a really tight exit, and your car is it's quite literally a brick. I know the Buick, pun intended, and everything like that. It actually felt like a brick this race. Minimal traction, carrying so much weight, so much speed. Especially once you're in the draft. But qualifying, I was able to put the pedal to the metal. I didn't know what the cheese was. I'm sure every Draft Master's demon that is in this lobby and many lobbies know what to do. I did not. I just did the standard, just trying to build up speed for the outlap and the first lap, all the way up at the top, and then let it rip on the bottom line. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I can already feel that tightness coming out of 4, and that's not even being in the draft, so I already know I'm going to have to lift a little bit to avoid destroying the safer barrier. So we're into the real lap now, the one that actually counts. We built up as much speed as we can, and now I'm trying to get to that yellow line. I'm liking the grip into the middle of the corner, but yeah, an exit, as soon as you release the wheel, there is no going back, so you got to make sure you have the right exit angle for the car nose as we pass the bus stop, heading into turn 3 and 4. Again, trying to get down to that yellow line as best as I possibly can, and a little bit of a wiggle. I was afraid that was going to matter a lot, but as we head into the trial gate here, as soon as I checked to see where I qualified, that bump didn't matter because I was already about 4/10 off what the fastest guys were doing. So that qualifies P15 for my first ever Draft Masters race and our debut at Daytona after going through the trials and tribulations of dirt mini stocks to late model, up into ARCA, then to B Open or Xfinity, or sorry, O'Reilly, as I fill the bus stop here, and then into Gen 4. Alright, the pace car for the final time this episode is going to pull down into pit road, and for the final time this episode, I get a terrible restart. As the Los Pollos Hermanos car starts to pull away in my lane. Luckily, guys behind me also didn't get a great start, so I get a very nice merge up into the top lane, trying to get that cut down. Still a little bit nervous at this point to see where I can lift off, where I can lift off, how much I need to, and all that jazz. As we're on the backstretch here, we see the first victim of Draft Masters. An impromptu attempt at taking the bus stop. Probably had some help. We'll see a little bit later on. But yeah, you can see, just hear the tires on how much they're having to work. So I'm already knowing that I definitely will have to lift at some point, but I do want to catch up to make sure I do not lose the draft. I still have PTSD from the Gen 4 car. So I am trying to do everything in my power to catch up as the 10 car, I think, hits the wall a little bit as we start to progress by him into P14. Still got a Congo line ahead of me, but this is probably the calmest the race is going to be as the shenanigans await. They begin on lap 3 as we're heading into turn 1. You can see they're a little more squirrely than our Congo line that we had. And that is a little bit of bad news, as we are taking the exit here out of turn 2. We're gonna hop on board pretty soon for the scariest turn 3 and 4 of the race, probably of my career so far. I see a Days of Thunder track blocker. I'm not lifting it, Draft Masters. Well, now I'll have to lift, but we make it through, somehow survive the apron. I thought I was going to join them in the mess, and luckily break just in time not to take out the 6 car ahead of me. As that gained us a couple more places up to P9, we move on to lap 10 here. We just kind of, we're in a peaceful Conga line, nobody making any moves, nobody taking any runs, just trying to overcome the shock and pure terror of what just occurred. That was a 23 car, sorry, in that Busch scheme. We see almost a pass below the yellow. Don't know if that would fly in today's age, but back in 1987, that probably was allowed. As we dive in here, we can just see the kinds of runs these cars are able to have. This was a lot of fun. iRacing. I know it's Draft Masters, but if there is a car to do it in, I do like these 87s. It was a wild ride through and through. As we can see right here, just a random 3 wide. For our goal right now that we're fighting for is P6 right now. That's where the 10 car is in. The top 5 have checked out. So I am trying to make sure I'm in the running for it, but still trying to make sure I'm still alive, but really trying to get a feel for this track, these tires especially as they begin to wear. 18 laps of Daytona in this format will do a number. You can see the lead pack up in the distance, but that will never catch them. So right now our goal is to try to beat those around us as we kind of fall back just a little bit. There's a car stuck on our outside, and the side draft is hurting a little bit. We are getting through the tri-oval here, trying my best to clear, and then I see an opportunity to move up and I take it. I want to be on this high line. I've been really tight out of turn 4, and as these guys move up the track, my thought process was getting the run on the backstretch here. We got one car falling out of line, and the 10 car diving down to help out. Try to break the draft from the car above, try to keep protecting that bottom line. I prefer the top line in this race, especially if I didn't have a car below me as I'm demonstrating right now. I was able to get a cut down off the exit and take that run. That's what I was looking for all race. That's what I found worked for me, so that's what I went for as we sail by the 22 car. Trying to get to the 6 car. 6 car decides to defend low, so we go high with our buddy 10 car. We've been next to them all race. And now you can see having to lift, it does come with some consequences. These cars on the bottom in the draft are able to fly by me while I'm not on throttle, but in order to make the corner, I need to let go of the throttle a little bit. 10 car does not get a great run off the exit as I'm flirting with 3 wide opportunity. 10 car allows it, says whatever, it's Draft Masters, we'll go 3 wide. There's a car looking below, so I'm afraid to dive down until the 10 car clears. And 6 car gets really tight. I slid up. I'm looking at the 6 car, forget my own line. Get myself a little bit of wheel damage, but this car is hard to turn anyway. It won't end up mattering. There's still 1 car behind us, a 22 in this little 5 car pack, battling for 6th place right now. And you can see that bottom line when there's 2 cars next to each other. I'm noticing is working. I want to dive down, but I can't because you got that 22 car beneath. And 6 car, unfortunately, is going to be a roadblock here. Not the best run. I wasn't a good drafting buddy. Looking 3 wide again. Again, as Draft Masters, I'm looking to be aggressive. That's something I'm trying to work on in my racing game. Been a little bit too nice. And looks like too much drafting help. I do not know how I save it right here. If you've ever driven an 87, once that snapback happens, it is almost impossible to save it. Another car bit the dust as well, so we're fighting now for a top 5 as we head into the final lap here at the final stage for one more time in this Dirt to DayDega. I'm taking the spotter view, switching over to one of the TV cams as I'm trying to build a run. I've been loving that outside all race long. So once the 10 car decided he wanted to defend my run to the bottom, I will gladly take it up top. As we head on board, I was trying to clear him. I wanted that cut down, but I couldn't do it. He had the help underneath like had been all race, and he gets a little bit loose. I get sent into the wall. I think I was going to the wall anyway, so nothing on him. And the 6 car out of all 3 of us gets the pass on the final hour, leaving us in P7, but a P7 I will gladly take in my first ever Draft Masters. Definitely a lot to learn on the super speedway. My biggest takeaway is it matters who is behind you and how many cars are behind you, because even though you had to lift a lot more for that bottom line, if you had a car drafting with you, it definitely paid off. So that is my takeaway for the next time I do Draft Masters, especially with the 87s, but the concept still applies to other cars. And I decided I wanted to complete the bus stop and not crash my Buick this time. As we head over to the other crashes, we see the 3 car. This is how they got a little bit of help getting sent into the safer barrier. A lot of G-force, probably a barf bag needed. And we have a draft. Bump drafting does not work on the corner. Found that one out as we get almost a sport ender here. Can't imagine the safety protocols or the safety features in this car as just gets pile driven. I mean, there's no cautions, no incentive to slow down, and it's Draft Masters, so As the saying goes, not lift until I see God or the checkered flag. And I think we're going to get a bunch of wall hits here. Glad to see I wasn't the only one. So we see another wall hit, and then another wall hit. And then this was from the front pack. This is how we got our spot. The 7 car got a wall hit, and then just kept it to the outside. We got a wall hit, then a spinner, mowing some grass. 14 car decided it's my turn to hit the wall, but they didn't keep it straight, and there goes their race. And this is what happened right below us as the 11 car, 22, 17, and 23. This is how our entire group became 3 cars only. And then the 3 car, maybe a tire reading? I don't know. 14, 22 way off pace, no bumper, no grip, no downforce. And the 14 gets another visit to the outside wall, or a wall. And then another sport ender right there, 22 car going airborne. And yeah, this is when we got to pass the 7 car. They were bobbing and weaving all over the tri-oval after we got by them. And the 2 car brings home the victory in the Hooters paint scheme. And yeah, like I said before, qualified 15th, made it all the way up to 7th. Had a good shot at top 5, so very happy with that. And I hope you enjoyed the Draft Masters leg of Dirt to DayDega as much as I did. I was pleasantly surprised overall. Very happy that I made this one the end. At least driving it, it was complete chaos and trying to hold on for dear life for 18 straight laps at a beautiful place like Daytona. You can't get much better than that. So thank you for watching this stage, and on to the outro. All right, that wraps up the first addition to the Dirt to DayDega challenge. I would like to do this weekly, especially with the rotating combos. Might be tough this week just because, one, I'm exhausted. This took a lot of time for me because I'm not used to doing any of this kind of video stuff, especially these effects, graphics, all this stuff I made myself. Having to go into the replay viewer, cut up everything. So I hope I at least made a cohesive narrative for each race. That was my goal. If there's anything, any critiques, feedback you guys have, please let me know. Even if just one person saying, hey, I'd like to know what place you're running at this time. And stuff like that would help a lot, because it's easier for me to understand what's going on because I raced it, but for somebody who didn't actually race in these races, let me know if it was too confusing for you to follow along. But yeah, hopefully even if you don't record it, even if you don't have one of those YouTube channels, just if you want to try this challenge for yourself, I had a blast, and it kind of took me back to Dirt to Daytona, which was the whole goal, to try and have fun with iRacing. So if you want to try it yourself, I encourage it. If you want to run this with me, the next time I do it, I would love some company. I know Sean's going to run it with me either this week or when I get back from a mini vacation. So yeah. Let me know what you think, and I hope you enjoyed, most importantly. And yeah, that's it.